The book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 1. Genesis 15 and 1. Genesis, the 15th chapter and the first verse. God's agreement with Abram. After all these things happened, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision. God said, Abram, don't be afraid. I will defend you and give you a great reward. But Abram said, Lord God, there's nothing you can give me that will make me happy because I have no son. My slave Eleazar from Damascus will get everything I own after I die. Abram said, you've given me no son, so a slave born in my house will get everything I have. Then the Lord spoke to Abram and said, that slave will not be the one to get what you have. You will have a son who will get everything you own. Then God led Abram outside and said, look at the sky, see the many stars. There are so many you cannot count them. Your family will be like that. Abram believed the Lord, and because of his faith, the Lord accepted him as one who has done what is right. He said to Abram, I am the Lord who led you from Ur of Babylonia. I did this so that I could give you this land. You will own this land. But Abram said, Lord God, how can I be sure that I will get this land? God said to Abram, we will make an agreement. Bring me a 3-year-old cow, a 3-year-old goat, a 3-year-old ram, a dove, and a young pigeon. Abram brought all these to God. Abram killed these animals and cut each of them into 2 pieces. Then he laid each half across from the other. He did not cut the birds into 2 pieces. Later, large birds flew down to eat the animals, but Abram chased them away. The sun began to go down, and Abram got very sleepy. While he was asleep, very terrible darkness came over him. Then the Lord said to Abram, you should know this, your descendants will live in a country that is not their own. They will be strangers there. The people there will make them slaves and be cruel to them for 400 years. But then I will punish the nation that made them slaves. Your people will leave that land, and they will take many good things with them. You yourself will live to be very old. You will die in peace and will be buried with your family. After 4 generations, your people will come to this land again and defeat the Amorites. That will happen in the future because the Amorites are not yet guilty enough to lose their land. After the sun went down, it got very dark. The dead animals were still on the ground, each animal cut into 2 pieces, and a smoking fire pot and a flaming torch passed between the halves of the dead animals. That would have scared somebody to death. So on that day, the Lord made a promise and agreement with Abram. He said, I will give this land to your descendants. I will give them the land between the river of Egypt and the great river Euphrates. This is the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites. Genesis 16, Hagar, the servant girl. Sarai was Abram's wife, but she did not have any children. She had an Egyptian slave named Hagar. Sarai told Abram, the Lord has not allowed me to have children, so sleep with my slave. Maybe she can have a son, and I will accept him as my own. Abram did what Sarai said. So after living 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai gave her Egyptian slave to Abram as a second wife. Abram slept with Hagar, and she became pregnant. When Hagar realized this, she became very proud and began to feel that she was better than Sarai, her owner. And Sarai said to Abram, my slave girl now hates me, and I blame you for this. I gave her to you, and she became pregnant. Then she began to feel that she is better than I am. I want the Lord to judge which of us is right. Both of y'all are wrong. But anyways, but Abram said to Sarai, she is your slave. You can do anything you want to her. So Sarai was cruel to Hagar, and Hagar ran away. Hagar's son Ishmael. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring of water in the desert. The spring was by the road to shore. The angel said, Hagar, Sarah's slave girl, why are you here? Where are you going? Hagar said, I'm running away from Sarai. The angel of the Lord said to her, Sarai is your owner. Go home to her and obey her. The angel of the Lord also said, from you will come many people, too many people to count. Then the angel of the Lord said, Hagar, you are now pregnant, and you will have a son. You will name him Ishmael, because the Lord has heard that you were treated badly. Ishmael will be wild and free, like a wild donkey. He'll be against everyone, and everyone against him. He will move from place to place and camp near his brothers. The Lord talked to Hagar. She began to use a new name for God. She said to him, you are God who sees me. She said this because she thought, I see that even in this place, God sees me and cares for me. So the well there was called Be'er Lahai Roi. It is between Kadesh and Bered. Hagar gave birth to Abram's son, and Abram named the son Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Ishmael was born from Hagar. Genesis 17, circumcision, proof of the agreement. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him. He said, I am God all-powerful. Obey me and live the right way. If you do this, I will prepare an agreement between you. I will promise to make your people a great nation. Then Abram bowed down before God. God said to him, this is my part of the agreement. I will make you the father of many nations. I will change your name from Abram to Abraham, because I'm making you the father of many nations. I will give you many descendants. New nations and kings will come from you. And I will prepare an agreement between me and you. This agreement will also be for all your descendants. It will continue forever. I will be your God and the God of all your descendants. And I will give this land to you and to all your descendants. I will give you the land you are traveling through, the land of Canaan. I will give you this land forever, and I will be your God. And God said to Abraham, now this is your part of the agreement. You and your descendants will obey my agreement. This is my agreement that all of you must obey. This is the agreement between me and you and all your descendants. Every male must be circumcised. You will cut the skin to show that you follow the agreement between me and you. When the baby boy is 8 days old, you will circumcise him. Every boy born among your people and every boy who is a slave of your people must be circumcised. So every baby boy in your nation will be circumcised. Every boy who is born from your family or bought as a slave will be circumcised. Abraham, this is the agreement between you and me. Any male who is not circumcised will be cut off from his people because he has broken my agreement. Isaac, the promised son. God said to Abraham, I will give Sarai, your wife, a new name. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her. I will give her a son, and you will be the father. She will be the mother of many new nations. Kings and nations will come from her. Abraham bowed his face to the ground to show he respected God, but he laughed and said to himself, I'm 100 years old. I cannot have a son. And Sarah is 90 years old. She cannot have a child. And Abraham said to God, I hope Ishmael will live and serve you. God said, no, I said that your wife Sarah will have a son. You will name him Isaac. I will make an agreement with him that will continue forever and with all his descendants. You mentioned Ishmael, and I heard you. I will bless him, and he will have many children. He will be the father of 12 great leaders. His family will become a great nation. But I will make my agreement with Isaac, the son who Sarah will have. He will be born at this same time next year. After God finished talking with Abraham, God went up into heaven. Then Abraham gathered together Ishmael and all the slaves born in his house. He also gathered all the slaves he had bought. Every man and boy in Abraham's house was gathered together, and they were all circumcised. Abraham circumcised them that day, just as God had told him to do. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised. Abraham and his son were circumcised on the same day. Also on that day, all the men in Abraham's house were circumcised, all the slaves born in his house, and all the slaves he had bought were circumcised. Genesis 18, the three visitors. Later, the Lord again appeared to Abraham near the oak trees of Mamre. It was the hottest part of the day, and Abraham was sitting at the door of his tent. He looked up and saw three men standing in front of him. When he saw the men, he ran to meet them and bowed before them. Abraham said, sirs, please stay a while with me. Your servant, I will bring some water to wash your feet. You can rest under the trees. I will get some food for you, and you can eat as much as you want. Then you can continue your journey. The three men said, do as you wish. Abraham hurried to the tent. He said to Sarah, quickly, prepare enough flour for 3 loaves of bread. Then Abraham ran to his cattle. He took his best young calf and gave it to the servant there. He told the servant to quickly kill the calf and prepare it for food. Abraham brought the meat and some milk and cheese and set them down in front of the three men. Then he stood near the men, ready to serve them while they sat under the tree and ate. Then the men said to Abraham, where's your wife, Sarah? Abraham said, she's there in the tent. And one of them said, I will come again in the spring. At this time, your wife, Sarah, will have a son. Sarah was listening in the tent and heard these things. Abraham and Sarah were very old. Sarah was past the right age for women to have children. So she laughed to herself and said, I am old and my husband is old. I'm too old to have a baby. Then the Lord said to Abraham, Sarah laughed and she said she was too old to have a baby. But is anything too hard for the Lord? I will come again in the spring, just as I said I would, and your wife Sarah will have a son. Sarah said, I didn't laugh. Liar. She said this because she was afraid. Oh, lying wonder. Then the Lord said, no, I know that it's true. You did laugh. Then the men got up. Just a lying wonder. Then the men got up to leave. They looked toward Sodom and began walking in that direction. Abraham walked with them to send them on their way. Abraham's bargain with God. The Lord said to himself, should I tell Abraham what I'm going to do now? Abraham will become a great and powerful nation, and all the nations on earth will be blessed because of him. I've made a special agreement with him. I did this so that he would command his children and his descendants to live the way the Lord wants them to. I did this so that they would live right and be fair. Then I, the Lord, can give him what I promised. Then the Lord said, I've heard many times that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah are very evil. I will go down and see if they're as bad as I heard, then I'll know for sure. So the men turned and started walking towards Sodom while Abraham stood there before the Lord. Then Abraham approached him and asked, will you destroy the good people while you are destroying those who are evil? What if there are 50 good people in that city? Will you destroy it? Surely you will save the city for the 50 good people living there. Surely you would not destroy the city. You would not destroy 50 good people to kill those who are evil. If that happened, those who are good would be the same as those who are evil. Both would be punished. As the judge of the whole world, surely you would do the right thing. Then the Lord said, if I find 50 good people in the city of Sodom, I'll save the whole city. Then Abraham said, compared to you, Lord, I'm only dust and ashes. But let me bother you again and ask you this question. What if there are less than 50? Will you destroy a whole city because of just 5 people? The Lord said, if I find 45 good people there, I will not destroy the city. Abraham spoke up again. He said, and if you find only 40 good people there, will you destroy the city? The Lord said, if I find 40 good people, I will not destroy the city. Then Abraham said, Lord, please don't be angry with me, but let me ask you this. If only 30 good people are in the city, will you destroy it? The Lord said, if I find 30 good people there, I will not destroy the city. Abraham said, Lord, may I bother you again and ask, what if there's 20 good people? The Lord answered, if I find 20 good people, I will not destroy the city. Then Abraham said, Lord, please don't be angry with me, but let me bother you this one last time. If you find 10 good people there, what will you do? The Lord said, if I find 10 good people in the city, I will not destroy it. The Lord finished speaking to Abraham and left, and Abraham went back home. Genesis 19, Lot's visitors. That evening, the 2 angels came to the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting near the city gates and saw them. He got up and went to them. He bowed to show respect and said, sirs, please come to my house and I'll serve you. There you can wash your feet and stay the night. Then tomorrow you can continue your journey. The angel said, no, we will stay the night in the city square. But Lot continued to ask them to come to his house. So they agreed and went with him. Lot gave them something to drink. He baked some bread for them and they ate it. That evening, just before bedtime, men from every part of town came to Lot's house. They stood around the house and called to Lot. They said, where are the 2 men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us. We want to have sex with them. Lot went outside and closed the door behind him. He said to the men, no, my friends, I beg you, please don't do this evil thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who's never slept with a man before. I will give my daughters to you. Now that's evil right there. Dirty Lot, dirty old man. You can do anything you want with them, but please don't do anything to these men. They've come to my house and I must protect them. Dirty old man. The men surrounding the house answered, get out of the way. Get out of our way, they said to themselves. This man Lot came to our city as a visitor. Now he wants to tell us how we should live. Then the men said to Lot, we will do worse things to you than to them. So the men started moving closer and closer to Lot. They were about to break down the door, but the 2 men standing with Lot opened the door, pulled him back inside the house and closed the door. Then they did something to the men outside the door. They caused all these evil men, young and old, to become blind. So the men trying to get in the house could not find the door. The escape from Sodom. The 2 men said to Lot, are there any other people from your family living in this city? Do you have any sons-in-laws or daughters or any other people from your family here? If so, you should tell them to leave now. We're going to destroy this city. The Lord heard how evil this city is, so he sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, the men who had married his other daughters. He said, hurry and leave this city. The Lord will soon destroy it. But they thought he was joking. The next morning at dawn, the angels were trying to make Lot hurry. They said, this city will be punished. So take your wife, your 2 daughters who are still with you, and leave this place. Then you will not be destroyed with the city. When Lot did not move fast enough, the 2 men grabbed his hand. They also took the hands of his wife and his 2 daughters. The 2 men led Lot and his family safely out of the city. The Lord was kind to Lot and his family. So after the 2 men brought Lot and his family out of the city, one of the men said, now run to save your life. Don't look back at the city. Don't stop anywhere in the valley. Run until you're in the mountains. If you stop, you'll be destroyed with the city. But Lot said to the 2 men, sirs, please don't force us to run so far. You've been very kind to me, your servant. You've been very kind to save me. But I cannot run all the way to the mountains. What if I'm too slow and something happens? I'll be killed. Look, there's a very small town near here. Let me run to that town. I can run there and be safe. The angel said to Lot, very well, I'll let you do that. I will not destroy that town, but run there quickly. I cannot destroy Sodom until you are safely in that town. That town is named Zoar because it's a small town. Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. Lot was entering the town as the sun came up, and the Lord began to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. He caused fire and burning sulfur to fall from the sky. He destroyed the whole valley, all the cities, the people living in the cities, and all the plants in the valley. Lot's wife was following behind him and looked back at the city. When she did, she became a block of salt. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and went to the place where he stood before the Lord. Abraham looked down into the valley toward the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. He saw clouds of smoke rising from the land like smoke from a furnace. God destroyed the cities in the valley, but he remembered what Abraham had said. So God sent Lot away from those cities before destroying them. Lot and his daughters. Lot was afraid to stay in Zoar, so he and his 2 daughters went to live in the mountains in the cave. One day, the older daughter said to the younger, everywhere on earth, men and women marry and have a family, but our father is old, and there are no men around here to give us children. So let's get our father drunk with wine then we can have sex with him. That way we can use our father to keep our family alive. That night, the two girls went to their father and got him drunk with wine. Then the older daughter went and had sexual relations with him. Dirty old man. He did not even know when she came to the bed or when she got up. The next day, the older daughter said to the younger daughter, last night I went to bed with my father. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight. So then you can have sex with him. In this way, we can use our father to have children and our family will not come to an end. So that night, the two girls got their father drunk with wine. Then the younger daughter went and had sexual relations with him. Dirty old man. Again, Lot did not know when she came to bed or when she got up. Both of Lot's daughters became pregnant. Their father was the father of their babies. The older daughter gave birth to a son. She named him Moab. Moab is the ancestor of all the Moabites living today. The younger daughter also gave birth to a son. She named him Ben-Ami. Ben-Ami is the ancestor of all the Ammonites living today. Very terrible, but this is the word of the Lord. Please place it in the comment section. This is the word of the Lord. Make sure you follow, like, share, as well as subscribe. And make sure that you text the name Hankerson right now to get ministry updates to the number on your screen, 314-315-9377.